afternoon, friends. It's Miss Amy from Camden Public Library, and today, for Black History Month, we are going to make some kente cloth. We're going to do woven paper kente cloth. So the word kente means basket, and it comes from the Akan or Ashanti dialect in Africa. It is also known as Nwentoma, which means woven cloth. And it's over 300 years old. And according to legend, Kurigu and Amiyahu, and I probably did not pronounce that right, are two brothers who went hunting, and they came across a spider, and the spider was weaving its web, and they wanted to create something beautiful like the woven spider web. And they came back and made the first woven kente cloth out of black and white fibers from the raffia tree. So kente fabric is usually really patterned, and it's a multitude of patterns and pieces of cloth that are woven together, and is often very, very colorful. So I have a piece of kind of yellow cardstock to use for so that what I can weave through my pieces. And then I have just some scraps. I have orange and purple and red. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some strips that I can then decorate with patterns. So I'm just going to make some, I'm going to use these. I'm going to use the full strips so that I make sure that I have enough. So I'm going to make some out of that. This, I'm not going to use that because I don't have enough. I am going to do some yellow, just a few yellow. I'm going to cut a strip there. Okay. And then I am going to do some orange. And what I'm going to do, I have some markers, and I'm going to make some patterns. So let's see. I'm just going to use this as scrap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some patterns. So I'm going to do this like this, okay? So that it looks like a pattern, okay? So when I cut it up into strips, this particular one is going to look like this, okay? So these, my orange strips will be like this pattern, okay? So here is a really simple pattern. So I'm going to cut some strips that I will then use to weave in it, like when we wove our placemats, except this is going to be kente fabric patterns. So, this is going to look really cool. Okay, zigzags, triangles are really big. So what I'm going to do, let's do this, and I'm going to do some zigzag patterns. I'm going to go like this. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just zigzagging. Okay, so there's 3 kind of zigzags. I'm going to cut each one of those apart to make a couple strips there. And the strips don't have to be all exactly the same. That is just fine. Okay, so then let's see if I do this. Let's do a strip. Let's do some that go like this. And I'm going to do this. Okay, so this is strips like this. Oops, I'm going to keep that on there. so I did some zigzags. Whoops. I did some zigzags. Now I'm gonna do some stripes in between. Okay, so there is another pattern. Just simple, and then I'm going to cut that up into strips, okay, that I can then use to weave with. Okay, but they're beautiful. They're beautiful patterns, and even though they're really simple, they are just really, really cool. So let's see if I do, let's do big. I'm just creating different kind of geometric patterns because Kente fabric tends to be very geometric. Have lots of bright colors like that. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go like this. And I get very different patterns. Okay, so now here's a whole bunch of really cool patterns that I can then use to create my Kente fabric. So to create this so that we can weave with it, what I'm going to do is fold it in half. Okay, so I folded this in half like this, and I'm going to cut strips about the same width down, but I'm not going to cut all the way. I'm only going to go down about that far. I'm going to go all the way across, so that creates a frame on the outside, because I don't want it to go all the way like this, okay? One more, just like that. Okay, so now, here's my strips. Okay, so now I'm going to start weaving, okay? And you're weaving in and out, in and out, in and out, and alternating. So I'm going to start with one of these on the back, and I'm going to go over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, and then push it up. Okay. Like that. Okay. Then I'm gonna pick a different color. This time I'm gonna go under, over, so that it alternates. Under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, like that, and push it up. Okay. Then we go over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Push that right up. And then we'll do the yellow one, which is under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, like that, just like that. Okay, so there we go. Ooh, I like that. Let's see, then we'll go back and I'll start again. So over, under, and just keep doing this until you fill your whole thing, and tuck it up, like right in there. Then I'm going to do this one. And again, I'm doing the opposite until I get the whole thing all the way across, like that. let's see, red. Okay. And this is a great fine motor activity. It's beautiful fabric. If you have ever seen real Ashante fabric, it is just beautiful. So let's see, I did this. So we're almost to the end. I might be able to do one more in there. And then you can snip it off, or you can laminate the whole thing, or you can keep it just like this. Yeah, I can put one more. Let's see. Over, under. Gets a little trickier on that last one to get it under. There we go. Over, under. Whoops. All right. There we go. And Kente fabric. So this African fabric, each village or each pattern, they stand for different things, and they have beautiful, beautiful patterns. And which is why in traditional some African villages, chiefs or the high elders would wear special fabric. So there you are, some homemade Kente fabric for Black History Month. I hope you enjoy this activity and creating these beautiful patterns, and you can even do this with fabric. If you have fabric at home, you can take fabric strips and weave the fabric strips together to create something beautiful. So hugs, happy creating. Miss Amy.